swing. Throw it, I say! Throw it!
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Ready to move out.
Good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome back to the Nation Network. Tony Schiavone with you tonight. We are going to crown the NWA U.S. Tag Team Champions. The title's currently vacant. We are going to have a night of some of the greatest tag team wrestling action you've ever seen in your lives. Let's take a look at the brackets, ladies and gentlemen, and we invite you to predict the outcome of tonight's matches right now. Let's take a look at what we've got coming our way. In the opening contest, it will be the Russians Ivan and Nikita Koloff going up against the Street People. That's Boogie Woogie Man Jimmy Valiant along with his tag team partner Rocky King. We haven't seen them as a tag team in action before. That's going to put them at a severe disadvantage in many ways. However, that might be a good thing because nobody's had a chance to prepare for them. We move down the bracket and look at the next matchup. Randy and Bill the Mulkeys will be going up against the Midnight Express. The Midnight Express, one of the most talented tag teams in the history of the business. Heavy favorites to go on past the first round, but it's a tournament-style match. You never know what could possibly happen. Then we talk about a match that I personally am looking forward to. It's a dream match featuring two of the top tag teams in their respective divisions. We have the High Flyers, Greg Gagne, Jumpin' Jim Brunzell from the AWA, coming over here to challenge the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson. Both of those teams are #1 contenders in their respective promotions. Tonight, they go head-to-head, not only for the U.S. Championship, but also for Pride. And then in our final match of the opening round, we talk about styles. Let's talk about the Long Riders. They're a couple of rough and tough street brawlers going up against the Fantastics, Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers, making their return tonight here to the NWA and to the Nation Network. They give up a lot of size, they give up a lot of strength, but they are a couple of amazing tag team wrestlers, and this should prove to be an amazing matchup when those two teams collide later tonight. All this action and plenty more lined up ahead. Stay with us, fans. We'll be right back to kick it off.
It's not WrestleFest on the arcade. It's not WrestleMania on the NES. It's not No Mercy on the N64. It's just a gunshot away from those fine retro games on Project 64. Retextured, remodeled, right on your home PC. I'm aboard, but watch your step. It's the all-new WWF Legends Challenge 64.
right, ready to kick things off. We apologize. Some technical difficulties just to get it going. Wouldn't be 2K broadcast without some. Want to welcome everyone joining us here live on the Nation Network. We've got Judd in the house, along with Neil Hooper. Corey Andrews joining us. Retro Wrestling in the house as well. Welcome one, welcome all. And the poll appears on the chat board. Let's see who's going to come out in this one. Make your predictions. As a matter of fact, now's the time to predict the overall winner. As the Street People get ready to start things off, it is Ivan Koloff going up against the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant, the leader of the Street People. Joining me as always here in the broadcast booth, going for a quick cover. Stu, Moab, and Stu, what do you think about this opening contest?
Well, I'll tell you right now, I was looking at the bracket earlier today, and I realized there's going to be some tremendous matchups that I am also looking forward to very much. But this one right here has the ability to be a shocker, in my opinion. Rocky King is a vastly underrated star in professional wrestling, in my opinion, and the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant, taking him as a tag team partner. I don't know that anybody's really prepared for this team, and we will see. He gives up a lot of size and strength, we know that, but he is very quick.
Indeed he is. As a colleague of mine would once say, he is so fast he can turn out the lights and be in bed before the room gets dark, and Rocky King is going to have to be that quick. And look at him right there, float over the top, dropping him down on his head, and Ivan Koloff finding out just how quick Rocky King is.
Well, he came up short on that one, and the advantage for Ivan Koloff is the experience factor. He might not have the overall athleticism of a Rocky King, but he's definitely got a lot more experience under his belt, and that's going to go a long way as well. But here's somebody who can match that in the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant, with a pile driver.
Indeed, that pile driver might have just shortened Ivan Koloff's career. Jimmy Valiant from the middle rope, wind up. Goes for the elbow, right down across the forehead. And now Jimmy Valiant running bulldog, and down goes Ivan Koloff. Couldn't hold him. Oh, this would be a major upset, would it not?
Oh, I tell you right now, Vegas is definitely going to be picking the Russians in this one. And that goes back to my point early on. I don't know how you can prepare for a team that you've never seen in the ring before.
And now Ivan Koloff sending Jimmy Valiant all the way out to the floor. This is the opening contest. Total of 8 teams, all vying for the chance to become the NWA United States Tag Team Champions here tonight. Those titles currently vacant.
Well, they are vacant. They won't be at the end of the night, however. And which of these teams here tonight will it be? Personally, I think it's going to be the Rock and Roll Express.
Stu going with the Rock and Roll Express, and now there's a bear hug, and Jimmy Valiant is in a lot of trouble as Ivan Koloff put a squeeze on him. And it's all over.
Oh, wow, I'll tell you what. I don't know if I would have predicted that one.
I'm not sure I would have predicted. I would have thought maybe Rocky King might have succumbed, but I wasn't expecting. Look at Jimmy Valiant. As the squeeze was on, you can probably feel the ribs cracking under the pressure of the Russian bear and that bear hug.
Well, they don't call him the Russian bear for no reason. He is the big bad man, and here tonight just proved a little bit of why he's got that nickname.
Nikita Koloff still 100% fresh, never even got into the match. Fans will be back with our second match in just a moment. Stay with us.
Wrestling fans, if you're enjoying the content here on the Nation Network, we encourage you to check out Blaze Radio. Join Blaze for his unique take on E-Fed wrestling.
Hey, Walker. There's a shotgun stunner, but long through the table at the same time.
From 2K to AEW Fight Forever, as well as talk show podcasts and NFL Red Zone coverage.
I love that I can listen to football commentary where the important conversations happen, like the rack on the ref.
As soon as we're finished here, jump over to Blaze Radio and tell him Vince sent you.
Attention wrestling fans, if you're having a great time here on the Nation Network, then we encourage you to go visit Dre 41 right after this program. Dre 41 with some of the greatest hockey action you've ever seen, featuring games from Japan that you won't see in the United States. Whether it's professional wrestling, boxing, or just an overall good time, get spicy with Dre 41. All right, fans, ready for the next matchup as we see Randy Mulkey heading down the aisle.
Well, you might say it's a date with destiny, and then there are those that might just say he's walking the plank.
Well, here come their opposition, and they are heavily favored in this tournament. Beautiful Bobby and Sweet Stan Lane. Notable by his absence here ringside is James E. Cornette, and that is because the championship committee has banned all managers throughout this tournament. No manager is allowed to be at ringside for any of these matches. The teams will have to survive and become successful on their own merits here tonight.
I'm not sure they shouldn't adopt that as a full-time position.
As we close the poll on the first match, the Russians with an 80%. And they were indeed victorious. The next poll is up between the Mulkeys and the Midnight Express. Who do you like in this one?
Well, I don't think there's anybody who's going to bet against the Midnight Express in this matchup, but you know what? Vegas wasn't built on winners, was it?
Absolutely not. And that's why I stay away. Randy Mulkey starting things off now with beautiful Bobby Eaton. Nice belly-to-back suplex. Bobby Eaton is one of the most technically sound professional wrestlers you are ever going to see in the wrestling ring.
Yeah, he is tremendous talent. He's the kind of individual that could go and be very successful as a singles wrestler, but he's a tag team specialist. It's something that he does extremely well. He and Stan Lane have been in the ring with some of the greatest teams of all time.
And not the least of which is the Rock and Roll Express. The only way those two teams would meet here tonight is if they both reach the finals, and what a finals that would turn out to be.
Oh, you better believe with the history between those two teams. Oh, my goodness.
Tag is made, and now Bill Mulkey stepping through the ropes for the first time tonight. Nice reverse neckbreaker by Mulkey. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. Winds up the arm and a clothesline.
Well, what would happen if these guys were to pull off the win here in this match? I'll tell you what, you're talking about Mulkey-mania running wild.
Well, Bobby Eaton not too happy with that and now is making him pay the price. Here's the Irish whip. Into the corner he goes. Tag is made. Sweet Stan Lane. Here comes that missile launcher, and he got him. Stan Lane crushing down on Bill Mulkey.
Stan Lane is a double threat anytime you're in the ring with him, because not only can he suplex you, punch you, clothesline, all that stuff, but he is very good at using his feet as well. He has been trained in martial arts, and he's very good at it.
Oh, Mulkey reversing out of the belly to back with a bulldog. Shout out to Hunter Iggy joining us here live on the Nation Network. Tag is made, and now Randy Mulkey going back in there. Unbelievable. A house of fire. Mulkey-mania has exploded here in the NWA.
Well, you think about it, when you're the Mulkeys and you've got this win-loss record that they have, which basically is all losses and no wins, what have you got to lose?
There's a cover, there's one. Oh my goodness, we almost saw it upset.
The odds makers were on the edge of their seat for a moment there.
Nice roll through by Lane. Comes up and targeting the shoulder of Randy Mulkey. Stan Lane now brings him headfirst into the turnbuckle. Look at Randy Mulkey getting out of trouble, and now sending Stan Lane into the corner. Tag was made, double team now by the Mulkeys. Do you believe what you're seeing?
Well, if ever you're going to bring your A game, tonight would be the night. Look at the tag made by Stan Lane, getting around Mulkey to do it.
And beautiful Bobby Eaton now going to work on Bill Mulkey. Referee standing by closely watching the action here. I dare say that the Midnight Express may have taken the Mulkeys a little bit lightly based on their history. Comes off with that Alabama jam and now hooks the leg. Will that be enough? There's one, there's two. Oh my goodness! Randy Mulkey just took out the referee.
Well, it's all on the line. Now look at Bobby Eaton taking a shot at the referee.
We can see a disqualification if this keeps up.
Well, that would be an unfortunate way to be eliminated from the U.S. Tag Team Title Tournament, but it's definitely a possibility.
Eaton missing the target, and that's not something he does often.
The Mulkeys have come here tonight realizing what's at stake and knowing this is one of the rare opportunities they might ever get at a tag team championship match.
Well, they'd still have to do it 2 more times if they can get past the Midnight Express, but I don't think anyone is expecting that to happen, and perhaps that's the problem. Beautiful Bobby turned upside down into the corner, tied up in the tree of woe.
I have never been more impressed with the Mulkeys than I am right now. I don't know where they're getting it from. And look at this.
Trying to put Eaton into submission. And Eaton managing to power out on the Boston Crab. Gets a 2 count. Bill Mulkey now. Irish whip is reversed. Eaton to the ropes and the 2 men collide. And now beautiful Bobby has up across it. Couldn't hold on to it. Drops him on the back of his head. This crowd now on their feet. They can't believe what they're seeing, and Mulkey Mania is indeed running wild here tonight.
I can't believe what I'm seeing, and I'm watching it right now.
Referee's in position for the cover. And Bobby Eaton having a count. There's a tag to Stan Lane, and I'll tell you, the Midnight Express. Jim Cornette's in the locker room right now, and he's got to be having a fit.
He may need to have medical attention himself. He's going to have a coronary.
Stan Lane go for a knockout blow. This one connects. Oh, the crowd really behind the Mulkeys right now. This has been a shocker of an opening match. He's winding up. Here comes that super kick. He missed.
Mulkey somehow managing to duck it out.
And now, Death Valley Driver goes for the cover. This could be a shocker. There's two. And again, the referee wipes out. Alabama Jam.
Ladies and gentlemen, never in my wildest dreams did I imagine this match would be going this far, nor that the Mulkeys would be that close to pulling off the upset of all.
And out from the top rope, Sweet Stan Lane with the elbow. He could have gone for the pin right there, and he'd have probably had it. No one around to make the save. Now into the turnbuckle he goes. Let's see what the Midnight Express have up their sleeve right here. Stan Lane, Snapmare takes him over. This could be the rocket launcher. And that's going to be all she wrote. Bobby Eaton cover, hook to the leg. Referee in position for 1, 2, and save made. Are you kidding me? Bobby Eaton going up again.
I'll tell you right now, the Mulkeys really letting it go here tonight, but Bobby Eaton just connecting with that elbow. That's got to be it.
And that's all she wrote, but what a match for the Mulkeys.
I am stunned at what we have seen here tonight from the Mulkeys. They have nothing to hold their head down about. I'll tell you, if you're the Midnight Express, you've got to be a little bit surprised and thinking about the next match at this point in time and wondering what you got to do.
Now the Russians are going to be very close to 100%. The Midnight Express, they went deep in this one. More action still to come, ladies and gentlemen. This is just the beginning. What a night we're in store for. All right, fans, we are back, and this is the one that I spoke about at the beginning of the night. We're going to look at two #1 contenders from two different wrestling promotions. The AWA representatives right now, the High Flyers, Greg Gagne and Jim Bronzell, getting ready to go up against Ricky and Robert, the Rock and Roll Express. It doesn't get any bigger than this.
Well, both of them very similar styles, very athletic. Both of them fan favorites in their respective promotions. I've got a funny feeling that the Rock and Roll Express might have a little bit of an edge when it comes to the home field advantage here tonight. But that said, you can't not respect the High Flyers. Greg Gagne, very talented amateur wrestling background. Jumping Jim Brunzell, the possessor of the most dominant drop kick I've ever seen. But when you talk about drop kicks, you got to talk about the Rock and Roll Express, because if they can hit with that rock and roll drop kick of theirs, this stereo drop kick, then nobody generally gets up from that one.
All right, the bell sounds, action's underway, and right off the bat, nice move right there, the leverage being used by Jim Brunzell to take Ricky Morton over, and Morton didn't seem to like that too much as they collar and elbow. Backed up into the rope, see if we can get a clean break here by the referee, going to try and step in between these two. And indeed, we do, at least early on.
Well, as I mentioned, these are generally two well-liked teams. Like to stay within the rules, but with so much on the line, it is not unheard of that sometimes emotions can run a little bit high in these types of things. And aside from the U.S. Tag Team titles on the line, there's a lot of bragging rights here. You've got interpromotional talent coming together. And we mentioned the home field advantage. Well, Ricky and Robert probably have a little more stress on them, a little more pressure to come out on the victorious end here, because this is the NWA.
Can't argue with that at all. As Ricky Morton now going to the middle rope. What's he got in mind? Morton with that buckshot elbow. Nobody home. Brunzell baited him in. Smart move by jumping Jim Brunzell. Sends Ricky Morton into the corner now. Perhaps attack to Gagne. Yes, we have it. Now Gagne comes in. Double team on Ricky Morton. And there's the High Flyers with a roll through. And Morton striking the back of his head hard on the canvas. Greg Gagne targeting the left knee of Ricky Morton. We talk about both of these teams being high flyers. If you can take one of the legs out, that's going to definitely limit the mobility. And there's a tag made, and now Robert Gibson in. Right into a hip toss, and Greg Gagne taking over.
Well, the High Flyers have definitely come out hot here tonight.
We take a look at the poll. Currently, it is a close one. 67% picking the Rock and Roll Express. There's the scoop. And the slam. And now Gibson going to follow that up with a boot to the head. Russian leg sweep. Nicely done by Greg Gagne. Gagne, an extraordinarily talented in-ring performer. Inverted atomic knee drop by Robert Gibson, and down goes Gagne, desperate to make the tag, and he does.
Well, Gibson.
Back elbow once again. Fans, we are experiencing some signal issues. We are recording at this point, and we'll bring you any lost video or footage. Should this go down, we're going to try and stick with it the best we can. The Rock and Roll drop kick. And the win for the Rock and Roll Express. What a victory over the High Flyers.
Yeah, we'll tell you right now, I thought that match would have gone a little bit longer. But it was perfect timing right there. Knowing that Gagne was on the floor, the Rock and Roll Express took advantage, and here's Jim Brunzell on the receiving end of that stereo drop kick.
This is what they do so well, and like we mentioned earlier, when they hit with that move, there's not too many people ever going to get out of it. Gagne wasn't able to get there to make the save. Your winners, Ricky and Robert, the Rock and Roll Express. When we come back, it is the final opening round match, I should say, and we'll be back with that in just a moment. Stay with us.
How does it make you feel sitting here knowing that you're a what if? I feel like I know Brian Pillman Jr. pretty well. Like, we go way back, right?
Yeah, he was a good kid. Yeah.
I don't feel like I know Lexus King at all. Macy, this is the most unique path I think that someone's taken after leaving WWE, because for most people, it's like immediately onto the indies.
Like I say, the difference between wrestling and pro sports is it doesn't matter about how talented you are.
What was that final episode of ECW like?
I didn't think it was going to be over.
Oh, wow. Yeah. If you don't wrestle again, you're going to go down as one of the biggest what ifs in wrestling history. Because you've got people like John Cena and Triple H and Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels saying you're the next great thing.
You know, I did WWE for 7 years, and it was never my passion. I never, that was never a secret.
It matters about whoever's writing the script, how they perceive you.
But I wouldn't say I'm a what if. I'm a what can and what will be. My story's not over.
Also, and I wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid going, I believed in the product, and I believed in Paul, and I believed in everybody in the locker room.
Yeah.
So if that's drinking the Kool-Aid, then I was.
All right, fans, we are back. Once again, we are aware there are technical difficulties right now. As usual, we have some severe weather in the area affecting the stream. We are recording this. If we need to, we will rebroadcast it at a later date. In the meantime, we're going to try and bring it to you live as much as we possibly can. The Long Riders making their entrance to the ring. Wild Bill and Scott Hogg Irwin. There's been a lot said about the footwear that these two gentlemen, and I'm going to use that term loosely here tonight, that they wear in the ring as we take a look at the Fantastics. Tommy Rogers and Bobby Fulton making their return to the NWA and the Nation Network after many years.
It has been nearly a decade since the last time we have seen them here. Happy to have them here for the United States Tag Team Championship title tournament. This is another one that's going to be a tight one to pick.
78% with the Rock and Roll Express, and that turned out to be pretty accurate. Let's see how things go in this one. The polls are now open. Will it be the Fantastics or will it be the Long Riders already? Wild Bill Irwin removing the turnbuckle pad, exposing the steel ring. Drop toe hold nicely done by Fulton. Goes for that Head scissors got caught. Oh my goodness, he's dropped face first.
Smart return strategy right there. Nicely done by Bill Irwin. You might not like them. You might not like their style. Once again, we have AWA representation going up against the NWA.
Thus far, the NWA has overcome in the previous matchup, and now we'll see if it can happen again here. This is for the chance to go to the semifinals. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it looked like Bobby Fulton may be bleeding.
I can't get a good look at him right now, but you may be right.
Oh, well, if he wasn't before, he probably is now. That big right hand. Irwin has been spending a lot of time in world class. Recently moving over to AWA. And apparently Fulton is not bleeding, and it appeared that he was. Down across the knee with a devastating backbreaker. Now see if he can make the tag. No. That is a big part of successful tag team wrestling, and that is cutting the ring in half. He was able to do it here. Bill Irwin doing a tremendous job of keeping Fulton away from Tommy Rogers, and now sends him back into his corner. Double team by the Long Riders as Scott Hogg Irwin comes in. Oh, wait a moment. This is going to be a problem. What do they got here? Spike pile driver. It's all over.
Fulton is not going to kick out from that one. Tommy Rogers will have to make the save, and he does.
Well, the pole is bouncing back and forth just as close as you like it. Elbow drop down on the chest. 80% going with the Fantastics here. There's an uppercut by Fulton. Winds up the arm. Russian leg sweep, and down he goes. The tag is made, and now Tommy Rogers, the legal man in the match. Pump handle slam. Indeed, right in front of his tag team partner.
Scott Hogg Irwin making him watch as he puts his partner through the paces. One thing I'll tell you right now, when you look at the Fantastics, they are not the biggest guys in the battle, nor will they usually ever be. But they are tremendous athletes there in that cruiserweight division that you might call around the 210 to 220 mark, where these Irwins are well over 250 each.
Size and strength is not the advantage that the Fantastics have. What they do have is athleticism and speed, but right now the power and strength is winning out.
Down across that knee with a devastating backbreaker indeed. Scott Hogg Irwin tying him up here. What's he got in mind? And oh, he's pulling back on him.
This could be it. Submission hold is on. And Rogers not only able to get out, but just dropped him. Throat first on the bottom rope. You saw his head slingshot back up.
Ring my bell. Well, this is where they've got to put something together. Nice drop kick.
Indeed, Tommy Rogers just knocked the wind right out of the sails of Scott Hogg Irwin. There's two. He got him.
Oh, my goodness.
I didn't see that coming. Well, take a look back. There was a spike pile driver. I thought the match was over there. Look at that drop kick right in the chest.
Well, if you've ever had the wind knocked out of you, you know that fighting is not the number one thing on your mind. Surviving is. Getting your next breath is.
Tremendous victory right there for the Fantastics, and they will advance to the semifinals of the United States Tag Team Tournament. What an opening round we've already had, ladies and gentlemen. Time for the semifinals. We'll be back. Stay with us.
my God, and the match has begun. Oh, God! Oh, my God.
Looking for some game
Frosty has
banging
been ranked
action?
up. Holy hell. Wait, Sam is gone. I heard that you can catch chairs. We should try this. Got it. Whoa! That's fucking awesome. Wow. First one that drops and loses. Oh, shit.
Not just playing games, but breaking games.
Oh, no. So James did a finisher on the top to me and threw me off to the left side of the screen and put me in the crowd. And everyone around me thought that was hilarious. And shouts out to the 2K team member that said, wow, I should have known that New Legacy was going to mess this up. Oh!
You know the old saying, if it isn't broke, don't fix it? Yeah, neither do these guys.
Jesus is eliminated.
Jesus and Santa not having a good night.
No!
From the guys who never met a game they couldn't break, check out New Legacy.
All right, our first semifinals matchup of the evening. Shout out to Judd, shout out to M. Hawk in the house. Citron YT in the house as well. Ivan and Nikita. Nikita Koloff hasn't been in any in-ring action yet tonight.
Well, I've got to give a solid advantage to the Russians because they are the freshest team in the second round, and it's not even close.
Indeed, we saw the Midnight Express taken into deep waters by the Mulkeys of all things. All right, the poll is up. Pick your winners, ladies and gentlemen. Will it be the Midnight Express moving on to the finals, or will it be the Russians?
Well, it is a pick'em time right now for even the fans here live in attendance because neither of these two teams is particularly liked here in the NWA, but I've got to say, the Russians probably are going to be a little more disliked than the Midnight Express, at least the Midnight Express representing the United States.
Well, speaking of representation, I've got to wonder what happened when the Midnight Express went back behind that curtain. You know, Jim Cornette had to have something on his mind.
Oh, I am sure he gave them a very strong talking to, as they say.
Bell sounds, action's underway. Which one of these teams is going to be the first to punch their ticket to the finals?
We could be looking right now at the next United States Tag Team Champions right there in the ring.
And beautiful Bobby coming up with a Russian leg sweep on the Russian Bear. Beautiful Bobby with a deadlift, gut-wrench suplex on Ivan Koloff, and still we have yet to see Nikita Koloff in the ring.
You know, as time goes by in this match, if we don't see Ivan Koloff make the tag to his nephew, and take a look at what Bob Eaton's doing over there, it might raise the question of perhaps there is an injury to Nikita Koloff that they may be protecting.
Well, you know what? You bring up a very good point. I hadn't thought about that, but we'll find out in a moment. Nikita extending his arm, but Uncle Ivan unable to reach.
And he didn't have very far to try to reach in that one either, but There's an uppercut.
Reversed Irish whipping now. Beautiful Bobby. Doing the 2K moonwalk. Oh, he caught Nikita off the apron, and now Ivan Koloff going to have to go a little longer without making a tag. Still have not seen Nikita Koloff. And now Ivan putting beautiful Bobby up against the ropes. What's he got in mind here? Using that bottom rope for added leverage as he pulls back on the knee.
Want to welcome the game, watching live here on the Nation Network.
Ivan Koloff planting a boot right to the midsection. And now look at Nikita down on the floor. What is the logic in that?
Well, he must have heard you. He made his way back up to the apron, but he still has not been in the ring. And we're now into the second match of the tournament.
Oh, a big boot coming up, and now Ivan Koloff, German suplex. He folded him in half with that one. You saw Stan Lane trying to make the tag in, and both of these men have been in there a very long time. And now, finally, the tag made.
Well, you're looking at the freshest man in the tournament. Forget the match. Nikita Koloff for the first time tonight in the ring.
Has beautiful Bobby up against the ropes. Back body drop all the way to the floor. Welcome to the tournament, Nikita Koloff.
He landed hard on that concrete surface. You see him grabbing his back, and the Russian Nightmare slowly back in the ring.
Making up for lost time, perhaps. There's another German suplex, this time by Nikita. Really rocked the world of Stan Lane. Follows it up with a suplex. Here's the Irish whip reversal by Lane into the turnbuckle, and that pad was removed earlier by Bobby Eaton.
Well, Nikita Koloff early on and his in-ring time here in the tournament has tasted the cement and the steel.
Koloff now attacking the knee. Nice deep arm drag right there by Stan Lane. Takes the Russian Nightmare over. Can you imagine if the Russians become the United States Tag Team Champions?
Oh, you know they want to take that tag team titles back to Mother Russia. The Kremlin would love nothing more. Look at this.
Ivan Koloff just caught Stan Lane and dumped him on his head. He's lucky to be up. Nice block right there by Nikita Koloff. If not for the outside interference of his uncle, this match might have a totally different look right this moment.
Stan Lane, I'm amazed that he got...
Oh, wait a moment. Hold on. There's that bear hug and won the match for them earlier on. Will it happen again?
Stan Lane able to do what the Boogie Woogie Man could not, and that is to escape the bear hug.
Going for that DDT, and Nikita having no part of it. Continues to attack the back. As the poll right now, 57% for the Midnight Express. He warms up. He's getting ready for the Russian sickle. There it is. Nikita goes for the cover. Save made by beautiful Bobby Eaton. Otherwise, this one would have been over.
You don't get up from the Russian sickle when Nikita Koloff hits you with it.
Stan Lane now blocks the suplex attempt and comes up with one of his own. He needs to make the tag, but Bobby Eaton is out on the floor. Now, you know that Stan Lane is still feeling the aftershock of that Russian sickle. He teed it up to Nikita Koloff, and he nailed him with it. Dragging him now over towards the corner. And tag is made. Here comes Uncle Ivan.
Well, the Russian Bear, he is stomping away, and he is ready to try and put this one out. Once again, whichever team wins will be in the finals for the U.S. Tag Team Championship.
Moonsault off the top. Stan Lane moving to the corner, trying to regain some of his stamina perhaps. Has got Ivan Koloff. Brings him up. Koloff. Oh, good Lord. Turned that momentum upside down and just drove the head of Stan Lane into the mat.
And now he's got that knee driven right into the small lower lumbar area.
Oh, this one is going back and forth. Each of these teams hitting with everything they've got. It now. Sweet Stan turns it over. That variation of a scorpion deadlock. Referee's going to ask Ivan Koloff, and he tapped out. He tapped out.
Unbelievable.
Once again, the poll is correct. 57% picking the Midnight Express over the Russians. The Midnight Express have made it to the finals. There's a Russian sickle, and if not for the save by Beautiful Bobby, the match would have been over. Well, the Midnight Express, who will be facing them for the tag team title later on tonight? We'll find out when we come back.
Watched a little bit of AEW, not a lot. Just enough to remind me why I don't watch it. Oh, this is already funny. Just the headline. The list of moves and actions that are now banned from AEW or need to be approved by the company.
Maybe that's why Nash is pissed off, because he went for Rock and Austin and not try to duplicate him.
Well, it'd be easier to duplicate him. You only have to learn 5 moves.
Like you said, and we've all been saying, Tony Khan, you need a hierarchy, and he gets one, and then we make fun of it.
Because he's sitting back there talking about the Brock match, and finally we had a wrestling match. Finally we got two guys telling a story. They weren't outside in the ring the whole time. One of them
was he not watching the same match as we were?
Yeah, those games, man, I would say, like, for me, like, the best ones, I would say, are, like, the ones where they try to get a certain, like, time.
This is my entire IT team right here on screen.
All right, this is going to be a big one, ladies and gentlemen. Talk about pick'em time. The Rock and Roll Express, Ricky and Robert going up against the Fantastics. We had a couple of teams that were not fan favorites a moment ago, and now we're looking at two of the most popular tag teams here in the NWA.
Well, as the old saying goes, something's gotta give.
Here they come. The Fantastics had a tremendous matchup earlier on. They were tested. We knew they were going to be. They managed to overcome.
Well, as we take a look at this matchup and think about the first round and what both of these teams went through in the early round, I would say both teams are pretty close to equally beat up in this one.
Very similar styles in this time around. Earlier on, we saw the high-flying style going up against the brawling brutes, if you would. And now we're looking at a scenario where both of these teams have very, very similar styles. They are both in that weight range that we talked about earlier, in that 220 bracket. Both high flyers, very scientifically trained wrestlers, and all things considered, I expect this to be a very good match.
Well, again, we got to remember the winners go on to face the Midnight Express for the U.S. Tag Team Championship.
Ricky Morton with a shot to the midsection. And comes up and follows up with a nice neck breaker as Bobby Fulton gets a little taste of that one. Talk about a dream match. Boy, oh boy. Early on in the poll, we are looking at the Fantastics being favored in this one. 67%. Ricky Morton from that middle rope. Waiting for Bobby Fulton to get back up. And he does. Missed the target. Fulton baited him in, and now Ricky better watch out where he's going. He's very close to Tommy Rogers.
Yeah, while both of these teams generally like to stay within the rules, there's a lot on the line here, and if you get too close to the wrong corner, don't be surprised if the man outside the ring doesn't perhaps grab a hold of you or distract you in some way from what's happening in the ring.
Ricky Morton continues to go to work right here. Big right hand. And down he goes. Another shot to the midsection. Nicely done. Back body drop all the way to the floor. And Ricky Morton hits the concrete.
Oh, the look on the face of Ricky Morton tells me that he might have to make the tag right here.
And a hip toss on the concrete floor as well. Tommy Rogers just drove him into the steel post.
Well, that's what I said early on. The United States Tag Team title is on the line realistically right here. One of these teams will go to the finals, and they're not going to take any chances. When an opportunity presents itself like that, you can't blame Tommy Rogers for taking advantage.
Raining down the elbows into the forehead of Ricky Morton, and the referee's count starting to get up there. Ricky Morton driving him into the apron over and over again. And Morton's going to dive into the bottom rope. The Rock and Roll Express by a countout. Are you kidding me?
Well, it's a victory. They will advance based on that.
Ricky Morton just kept running the head of Tommy Rogers into the apron. It counts as a victory. That's the bottom line.
Well, I am sure we've not heard the last of the Fantastics after that one. Boy, oh boy.
Stick around, fans. We've got a big match coming up next.
So my entire life, I knew that I always wanted to be able to give back and help others, especially financially, because that's something that I never really had. And around the same time that I found Camper, I got my first big YouTube paycheck of $7,000. So I decided at that point I would start Camper Cares, a charity project inspired by Camper to help animals, families, and fosters. And so Camper Cares was born, and every month since we have been donating a part of our ad revenue to animals, families, and fosters in need. Today, we are at Underdog Rescue in Moab. Underdog services the Four Corners area in Navajo Nation. It is a really special area that needs constant help and attention. Recently, the median household income here is $20,000. Unemployment rate is near 50%, and around 1/3 of the homes don't even have running water or electricity. Not only that, there are stray dogs everywhere. Just in Navajo Nation, there are 250,000 stray dogs. and in the Four Corners area, around 500,000 stray animals. The worst part is the life expectancy of a res dog is only 2 years old due to the lack of food and water, the harsh elements, predators, and life-threatening injuries. So I am so thankful for rescues like Underdog, especially because there are 4 other shelters in this region, but they are high kill shelters, and 93% of those animals in there are killed. Not to mention, there are only 2 vets serving the entire Navajo Nation. This area needs our help. I am so thankful for rescues like Underdog, who are doing such amazing and important work. They really, truly deserve it all. And thank you so much to all of you for making this possible and for making my dreams come true. And just by watching, making a dent in this big problem.
All right, well, Camper got a hold of my credit card last night. You want to show him what we got him? We got you guys. I'm so excited. 1,000 pounds of dog food. Except one catch. You guys got to help me out. 1,000 pounds of dog food will last this rescue about 1 month. So let's just say we need a lot more. So if you want to help, I'm going to put some information in the description with an address where you can send it or a link where you can just get it on Amazon. But at least we got a month down. All loaded up.
All right, friends, we are ready. This is for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Here comes the challenger, Harley Race.
Well, there's been a lot, and I do mean a lot of controversy running around when it comes to who should be next to face the NWA champion, Kevin Von Erich. Harley Race pulling up a big win over the Nature Boy Ric Flair recently. Championship committee got together and decided that here tonight, Harley Race would get his opportunity and that Ric Flair will face the winner of this match at the big Star Wars of Wrestling card taking place next Sunday here on the Nation Network as part of the World Class Championship Wrestling Super Show.
Bringing you the best of the best, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to professional wrestling. This for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, and there is the champion, Kevin Von Erich.
With the 10 pounds of gold around his waist, Sweet Charlotte. A lot of people were very surprised that he was able to dethrone the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Flair, of course, claiming that it was a home field advantage. There was some controversy when it comes to the officiating in their first match. However, I don't believe that controversy really existed in the second one.
That is what they will be competing for, ladies and gentlemen, right here, right now. It is the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Following this, we will see who will be the first NWA U.S. Tag Team Champions here. Harley Race, the challenger and former world champion, going up against Kevin Von Erich.
One of the biggest things about the Von Erich family is that they've got a number of members who have had right to claim a number one contendership at one point in time or another for that belt. That includes David Von Erich and Kerry Von Erich. And the question now is, will Kevin be able to retain that and take it back with him to Texas, or will it be Harley Race wearing it heading into the Star Wars of wrestling?
And that brings up another interesting point. If Kevin does drop that title here tonight, he'll have a return contract as well, but it won't be at the Star Wars event. Nicely done as Harley Race ready for the attack. Overhead German suplex perfectly executed.
Well, Harley Race is just one of those raw-boned, tough-as-leather wrestlers. He is cut from a different cloth than Kevin, and Kevin is just a superior athlete. He has been a success in any sport he has ever participated in throughout his life growing up. And wrestling, to the surprise of no one, came very natural to him. Of course, his father, the legendary Fitz Von Erich, played a major role in raising some very tough young men. And this might be the ultimate test of that right here.
Nice move right there by Kevin, indeed. Catching Harley Race and taking him over with that Harley Race with that German suplex again. Or I should say overhead belly to belly. But the champion right now needs the ropes to get back up to his feet. This does not look good. Clothesline and Harley Race going to work.
I would not be surprised. I have not seen Ric Flair in the building tonight, but I would not be surprised if he is here somewhere watching this match very closely.
Well, he definitely has a vested interest in the outcome of the match. Harley Race continues to batter Kevin Von Erich. Harley going off the apron. Oh, my goodness.
He connects with that clothesline. And the champion is really having a hard time of things here tonight.
Well, we are not in Texas tonight. And there is something to be said about the home field advantage. Looked like Harley was going to break the count. Decides to go back out. Got caught with a monkey flip. And now Kevin diving under the bottom rope. And that will break the count.
Well, he might have wanted a better off stay inside the ring, and Harley Race, oh, he's been busted open. He is bleeding.
I believe you're right, he is. Blood flowing, and now Harley Race, like a shark in the water, sees that blood.
And Kevin just saw it as well, and one of two things happens now. Harley Race has him up for the pile driver.
We might have a new champion. Oh my goodness, Harley Race is not... What's going on here? It's Sting!
Sting has it. What in the world is Sting doing here?
I have no idea. Harley Race gets caught from behind. There's one. There's two. And he almost pulled it off.
What in the world is Sting doing here?
He came out long enough to distract Harley Race, and now Kevin Von Erich going to try and take advantage of this. The blood streaming down his face. Harley Race has him up across the shoulders, couldn't hold him. This crowd is coming unglued. Von Erich with a second wind. He's got Harley Race up on the airplane spin.
That is one of the most disorienting moves that you will ever be in. Your equilibrium can be shot for a matter of minutes after that one.
Von Erich with a drop kick. Goes from a cover, hook and a leg. One, and he kicked out. Kevin Von Erich with a series of elbows to the head. Oh, this thing is really turning into a Donnybrook now. It was a one-sided match favoring Harley Race until the appearance of Sting.
Well, not only an appearance by Sting, but that was an unusual look.
Harley Race now got caught. Looked like he might have wanted to go for a bear hug or something like that. Now Kevin Von Erich waiting on Harley Race. There's the claw.
Oh, he's got it on there. Referee is standing by. Will this be the end of the match?
Harley Race will not surrender as he battles his way back up. There is not a single person in their seat right now as the champion dropped rope first across the top rope, and Harley Race looking to put him away. Sleeper hold. Harley Race has got the sleeper and it's cinched in deep.
Kevin Von Erich is fading fast right now.
And a jawbreaker gets him out of trouble with how much damage may have been done.
He couldn't hold Harley Race. He went for the slam, couldn't hold him up.
And now Harley Race going after the leg. What's he going to do here? Spinning toe hold. Von Erich is deep in the corner. He can grab the ropes, and the referee would have to break the hold. Oh, Von Erich may be out. He may have absolutely passed out from the pain of that move. Harley Race cover, hooks the leg. Do we have a new champion? There's one. There's two. He got him.
Well, the landscape has just changed here in the NWA once again.
Oh, I'll tell you what, there's Sting causing the distraction that almost cost Harley Race this match.
Well, it definitely gave Kevin Von Erich the opening he needed to get back into the match.
Harley Race, enough pain from that spinning toe hold to cause a blackout. And there is a new NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Harley Race, victorious. Fans, when we come back, we will crown the new NWA US Tag Team Champions. Stay with us.
You will never pin me. Now it's everybody's favorite time.
Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the Nation Network. While you're at it, why don't you check out our sister channel, All Night Gaming. A little bit of everything from old school to new school.
Once the final bell rings, jump over to All Night Gaming and join us where the fun never ends. All right, fans, this is it. The Midnight Express heading down to the ring. They have had a rough go of things to get here from the opening match, but they made it to the finals to go up against the Rock and Roll Express. One of these two legendary teams here in the NWA will have the NWA US Tag Championship titles around their waist in a short time.
Well, we think it'll be a short time. Both teams have gone through a couple of matches to get here. They're not at 100%. You can't be wrestling your third match of the night.
We invite you to pick the winner. Will it be the Midnight Express? Will it be the Rock and Roll Express? Let's see what the experts think. I picked the Rock and Roll Express at the beginning of the night. So far, I'm looking pretty good.
You did indeed, and I'm telling you right now, Ricky and Robert, I think they might be in a little bit better condition at this point in the evening than the Midnight Express, but it's very close.
Well, we keep thinking back to that opening match between the Midnight Express and the Mulkeys. On paper, it looked like it was going to be a cakewalk, and it turned out to be anything but that.
Shout out to Prime Time joining us here just in the nick of time as we take a look at what these teams are battling for. The NWA US Tag Team Championship.
We remind you that everything you see on our 2K18 streams was completely designed and manufactured within the parameters of the game. Collar and elbow back up into the corner now, Ricky Morton. Referee trying to get in there, and he does get a clean break. Morton with a jawbreaker, and down goes Bobby Eaton.
Oh, beautiful Bobby just caught that one right on the chin, literally. Morton went for the body slam, but couldn't hold on to him. And Bobby Eaton, I think, is probably going to be a little bit more with an advantage when it comes to the size and strength. It's not a big difference, but it is a difference.
Well, the Rock and Roll Express, much like we saw with the Fantastics and other teams tonight, a lot of tag team specialists tend to be on that lightning fast, slightly smaller and streamlined build. But then you've got teams like the Road Warriors, for example, that are absolute monsters and just demolish everything in front of them. But the history between these two teams, I'll tell you, it runs deep. And the fact that the U.S. tag titles are in the balance.
Ricky Morton right now sends him into the corner. You know that Jim Cornette, he's got to be medicated at this point in time in the back. Not being able to be ringside for this match is driving him crazy.
Double team by the Rock and Roll Express, and I totally agree with that. Bobby Eaton tried to make the tag. Robert Gibson would allow. There's a headbutt by Bobby Eaton, and the tag made a sweet stand lane. Gibson down across the knee with the backbreaker. Nicely done. Stan Lane with the arm drag takes him over. The matches that these two teams have had against one another over the many years, they are matches that are historic
Well, they've battled each other over and over again. Championships, non-championships, on top of scaffolds, inside of steel cages, you name it, they've done it.
You know, when you look at Robert Gibson, you think there's no one he knows better than Ricky Morton, his tag team partner. But right after that, you'd have to say Stan Lane and Bobby Eaton, and you could say the same about the Midnight Express when it comes to the Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah, so much time in the ring these two teams have spent together that they do know each other as well as they know their own partners, and that's going to make for a very interesting matchup here.
Well, thus far, the poll picking the Rock and Roll Express 100%. We'll see if that happens. And now Gibson head first into the steel ring post.
Anybody want to rethink their vote now? Holy cow, that one rang the bell, and I'm talking about Robert Gibson's.
Count is up to 6 now. Oh, and there's a return. Referee's count continues. Stan Lane is sent back in, and Gibson follows him in. And look at that Lane, smart move to get out of the ring by himself a little bit of time.
Probably should have stayed out a little longer, but he managed to get away with it.
Belly to back suplex, nicely done, and now Gibson is in trouble. You see Ricky Morton reaching for the tag. Back elbow, no, it's blocked, nicely done. And now Robert Gibson with a bulldog, driving the head of Stan Lane into the mat.
Stan Lane is on Queer Street right now. You can see that rubbery effect of his knees. There's a tag made. Could it be?
Referee intercepts Bobby. There's a stereo drop kick and got him a win earlier. Ricky hooking a leg. Referee in position. There's one and a save made by Bobby Eaton.
Robert Gibson was there, couldn't intercept him in time.
All four men in the ring. Referee's going to have to try to find a way to regain control. This is where things can go wrong. Big knee lift by Ricky Morton, and now Ricky to the middle rope. What's he doing here? Oh, that buckshot elbow missing once again.
He's not had too much luck with that move here tonight, and Gibson just got driven into the ring steps.
We've got action outside the ring. We've got action inside the ring. As Robert Gibson just got dropped on the back of his head here on the concrete floor. Now the Midnight Express. Stan Lane using that variation of the Scorpion we saw in Victorious earlier. Ricky Morton manages to reverse out of it. Stan Lane dropping Morton now on the back of his head.
Both of these teams, ladies and gentlemen, bringing everything they've got to the dance.
Irish whip is reversed. Stan Lane into the corner now. Ricky Morton makes the tag to Robert Gibson. There's that rolling thunder and the back of the head of Stan Lane banging off the mat. He looks to make the tag, and he does. Here comes beautiful Bobby. Swing and a miss. Gibson dropping Eaton on the back of his head.
Well, it's only a matter of time right now.
Stan Lane still out on the floor. If the Rock and Roll Express can find a way to go for a pin attempt here, they have a good chance of winning the U.S. Tag Team titles. And now Gibson thinks he's done enough damage. There's one, there's two, and Eaton comes out the back door. 88% say the Rock and Roll Express will be victorious. And now Gibson makes the tag to Ricky Morton. And now Ricky going up. Better watch out. Stan Lane's going to beat him. And Lane shoving Morton out, but he lands right on top of beautiful Bobby. I don't think Stan Lane did his partner any favors.
Both men are out in the middle of the ring. Nobody able to get back up.
Ricky Morton, first man to his feet. What a match, ladies and gentlemen. This for the U.S. Tag Team Championship. It's been a hell of a tournament. And now Ricky Morton's going to try it again, and Stan Lane going to be there once again.
Well, Ricky Morton's got to realize that that is not the right place to be going. If you're going to go up, at least go in your corner.
Fans not happy at all with Stan Lane. Both men up there. Oh, headbutt right there by Bob Eaton, and that just caught Ricky off guard. And beautiful Bobby snapmares him over. Irish whip, and Ricky Morton just cleared Stan Lane off the apron, and Morton goes down. Stan Lane now taking advantage of the situation on the floor.
Double team going on here on the concrete floor. Robert Gibson needs to get over there and help his partner.
Stan Lane just puts Ricky Morton back into the ring. Oh, look. Something going on here. A miscommunication. There's a tag made.
Well, indeed, it was a miscommunication, and the Midnight Express ran into one another. And now Robert Gibson taking advantage of that opportunity.
Again, not having Jim Cornette at ringside, showing to be a little bit more of an impact on the match, perhaps.
Well, whether you like him or not, you got to admit he is a guiding force for the Midnight Express and has been for a number of years.
Tag is made, and now let's see what they got in mind. It looks like it's going to be the rocket launcher. Indeed. Do we have no U.S. Tag Team Champions? There's two, and Ricky Morton couldn't get there. Robert Gibson kicked out.
I don't believe he was able to kick out of the rocket launcher. Stan Lane can't believe it either as he was watching.
Stan Lane going to look to put him away. The super kick connects. There's two. It's all over. The Midnight Express win the U.S. Tag Team Championship.
What a main event we saw here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It could have gone either way, and it darn near did on a number of occasions, but at the end of the day, the Midnight Express had what it took to get the job done.
I thought it was over right here. Look at this. Somehow Robert Gibson managing to kick out on his own. Here are your winners, ladies and gentlemen, and the brand new NWA U.S. Tag Team Champions, the Midnight Express. Thank you for joining us, fans. We'll see you again next time right here on the Nation Network. So long.